Right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Finn here and welcome back to my channel, where today I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about Nigeria for the upcoming African Cup of Nations. Now, of course, I did this video concept with Cameroon about a week ago. You guys seem to have absolutely loved that video, and I know I've got quite a big audience from Nigeria, so it only made sense that I made a video telling you everything you needed to know about the Super Eagles for the upcoming competition. And let me say, Nigeria might genuinely be one of the favorites to win the competition this year around. Look, they've won the African Cup of Nations 3 times before, the most recent one being in 2013. They came 3rd place in the 2019 African Cup of Nations, and they've got brilliant individuals throughout their squad. So what I'm going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at the Nigerian squad for the competition. We're going to be looking at the players in the squad. We're going to be looking at what formation I think suits the squad best, and we're going to be looking at what starting 11 I believe is Nigeria's strongest heading into the competition. Now, of course, looking at Nigeria as a whole, we do have to look at their group in terms of how strong their group is. Of course, they've got the likes of Sudan and Guinea-Bissau in their group. Now, those are teams that could potentially steal points from the Super Eagles, but of course, the big one we'll be looking at is going to be Egypt, because of course, if you've watched my channel for a while now, you'll know that I strongly believe Mo Salah is the best player in the world. And I will also say this: Egypt, of course, the nation that has won the most African Cup of Nations of all time, they play brilliant as a team. I think as a team they're stronger than Nigeria, but I think looking at Nigeria player for player, they've got the better squad, and if they can pull things together and play well as a team, I think they could be absolutely unbeatable. So I guess the big question is, will the Super Eagles be flying high this competition, or are they going to be those annoying birds that crash into your window? I guess we're going to have to wait and see. But guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I believe is Nigeria's strongest squad for African Cup of Nations 2021. Now, in terms of the starting 11 the Super Eagles should use for this competition, I strongly believe Nigeria should use a 4-3-3 formation. I think Nigeria have got some brilliant top talent in pretty much every single position. Therefore, I feel like a 4-3-3 formation has the most balance throughout the team. As I said, I think Nigeria have got some brilliant players in the goalkeeper positions, defense, midfield, and attack. And a 4-3-3 is just really well balanced all around. I mean, starting off in the goalkeeper position, we've got the likes of Maduka Okoye. Now, once again, I'm sorry, I'm not from these regions, so if I do pronounce anything incorrectly, I am sorry. But the 22-year-old goalkeeper has just moved to the likes of Watford from Rotterdam in the Eredivisie and has gone out back on loan to Rotterdam. Once again, Watford have got 1 or 2 really decent goalkeepers, so he's going to struggle to find game time there. But at just 22 years old, he's already had his fair amount of game time for the Nigerian national team. He got 10 clean sheets in 33 games in the Eredivisie last season, and that is really impressive considering he's only 22 years old now, and he is playing in one of the top divisions in the world. You cannot forget that the Eredivisie have got some top talent, especially in terms of attack. So to be 22 years old and get 10 clean sheets in 33 games in a competition like that, it's nothing to frown upon. And now to move to a Premier League club, yes, he's out on loan now, but I really think he could be a top talent one day. As I said, already a really solid fixture in this Nigerian national team, and I cannot think of any better goalkeeper to start for the Super Eagles. Now, moving on to our defensive positions, the fullbacks I think Nigeria should use for this competition is going to include the likes of Ola in the right back position and Zaido Sunusi in the left back position from Porto. Now, of course, the first fullback we're going to be talking about is going to be Ola, which of course you guys should remember him if you watched him at Fulham in the Premier League a season or 2 ago. Although got relegated as an absolutely fantastic player and is extremely versatile when it comes to his positioning. Can play as a fullback, but is also a really solid centre-back option. Therefore, I feel like somehow has to fit within this Nigerian system. I think defensively can be really, really good. I think as a defensive fullback, he is a really brilliant player. Of course, at the likes of Torino in Serie A and at Fulham, I wouldn't say that he's been played in attacking fullback systems, and I definitely think as a defensive fullback, that is where his strength lies. No, he's not going to be the likes of João Cancelo or Trent Alexander-Arnold, but you know what, if the team doesn't play to that system, he doesn't need to be like that. I mean, if you look at Ola right now, compared compared to other players throughout the top 5 leagues in Europe in the same position as him, comparing him to those players as a centre-back. As you guys can see, in terms of attacking ability, he's not too bad, but it's really when it comes to his distribution that he tops all other centre-backs. I mean, in terms of his progressive passes, he's within the top percentile in the top 5 leagues when it comes to progressive carries, dribbles completed. He gets the ball up really well, and as we know, as a modern day fullback, that is seriously important. As you guys can see, defensively he's okay, but he's not absolutely brilliant. But as a fullback, as you guys can see, his clearances are within the top percentile. So that is why I've kind of put together his fullback and centre-back abilities and said that he, as a defensive fullback, should be a really brilliant option. Now, looking at the left-back option that I mentioned, as I said, the likes of Xherdan Shaqiri, obviously playing for Porto, only 24 years old, and no, doesn't start every single game for Porto in the Portuguese league, was a huge part of their ability though in the Champions League so far this season. Played every single game in the Champions League, all 6 games, and you really have to look at his ability in terms of that, because if you think about it, being in a group with AC Milan, Liverpool and Atletico Madrid, and to be chosen as the left back to play against all of those teams, it really shows credit to the likes of Xherdan Shaqiri. Once again, also a defensive fullback. If you look at the likes of Shaqiri, in terms of his ability, sorry, let me just make sure that I'm spelling it correctly, because otherwise I'm going to find the wrong player. But if you look at the likes of Xherdan Shaqiri, once again, if you look at his ability, not really great going forward, but defensively in terms of interceptions, tackles, pressures, aerial battles won, once again, just like the likes of Iheanacho, a really good defensive fullback. And I think if Nigeria use a defensive fullback system in this competition, I think that is really where their strengths will lie. Now, looking at the centre-half partnership Nigeria should have heading into this competition, as we know already, Nigeria have got some brilliant players in their attack going forward and some brilliant midfielders. Therefore, I think the thing that'll decide how far Nigeria can go in this competition will be how strong their defense can be. I mean, if Nigeria have a defense that is rock solid, a brick wall that is unbreakable, I think they could be the real winners of this competition. And I think Nigeria might just have that. They've got some solid centre-back options. The centre-back partnership I've gone for is the likes of William Troost-Ekong and the likes of Leon Balogun, I think that's how you pronounce it, from Rangers. Now, of course, looking at William Troost-Ekong, the second Watford player I have in the squad, and defensively is a really good centre-right back. Look, if you look at him statistically, he hasn't been absolutely brilliant this season, but that's because Watford defensively has been struggling this season. Obviously, since they lost the likes of Ben Foster, their main goalkeeper, they have struggled, so I don't feel like that's fair. We do have to take that into consideration when looking at his defensive stats. But looking at Troost-Ekong, you guys know I'm an absolute sucker for a centre-back who's brilliant with distribution from the back, and Ekong is just that. I mean, looking at William Troost-Ekong, has the most passes out of any Watford player in the squad, is approaching a half century of appearances for Nigeria, and once again I think just has to fit into the Super Eagles squad. As I said, the centre-back partnership I've gone for with him is going to be the likes of William Balogun, the 33-year-old centre-back for Rangers. Obviously, throughout his career, hasn't had an absolutely marvellous career in terms of where he's been, but in terms of last season, winning the Scottish title with Rangers has been an absolutely brilliant centre-back. I mean, once again, if you look at him statistically, we're just going to head over here again. I mean, compared to other centre-backs throughout the top leagues in Europe, in terms of his attacking ability is really good and kind of makes up attacking-wise what Troost-Ekong is missing out on. Once again, defensively, maybe not entirely there, but I think William Troost-Ekong will pick up on that and they'll work to each other's strengths and weaknesses. But in terms of dribbles complete, in terms of pressure, in terms of tackles, I mean, if you look at tackles, to be within the top percentile in the entire world in terms of the top leagues, he is a solid centre-back option, has been linked to 1 or 2 clubs in terms of a move in the Premier League, and I think if you put him next to Troost-Ekong, I think if you've got that centre-back partnership, I think Nigeria could almost concede 0 goals throughout the group stage. Once again, we're going to have to see versus Egypt if they can do so, but really, a solid defence. Wow. Going into our midfield positions, as I did mention earlier, I've got a 3 midfield system. I am going to go for 2 kind of central midfielders and a defensive midfielder. And in terms of the midfielders I've gone for the likes of Frank Onaka, obviously from Brentford. I've gone for the likes of Watford and Ndidi from Leicester City. And Joe Aribo, once again, the second Rangers player in the squad. Now, looking at the likes of Iheanacho first, I think in terms of a proper box-to-box midfielder, he's been brilliant this season. Was kind of signed from Midtjylland in Denmark to be a defensive midfielder, but in terms of his attacking ability and getting the ball forward, I think he's so much more than a defensive midfielder, and he's kind of shown that for Brentford so far this season. Therefore, I think for Nigeria, I do think he should play slightly higher up in the pitch, because I think he'll be a crucial role in terms of both attacking and defensive ability. As I said, the other central midfielder I've gone for is the likes of Joe Aribo, the second central midfielder, and although is kind of seen as a defensive player for Rangers, once again, just like Frank Onaka, is so much more than that. The way he gets the ball forward, has gotten 6 goals and 3 assists in 20 appearances this season. I mean, if that's what you call a defensive midfielder, I would hate to see their attacking players. Obviously, I think his strengths is his actual strengths himself. I mean, he is a big boy, 6'2", will win aerial tackles, and technically is brilliant on the ball. As I said, I just think Aribo is the total package, and once again, after a competition like this, I wouldn't be surprised if he earned himself the move somewhere else. And that, of course, takes us to the third and final midfielder I've gone for, which, to no surprise, is the likes of Wilfred Ndidi. Once again, I don't think anyone's surprised by him. Once again, just a player where, if you look at his statistics, is absolutely threatening. I mean, just as how the hell do you spell Ndidi? I think if you look at Ndidi defensively, many people think of him as maybe after N'Golo Kante, the best defensive midfielder in the entire world. Once again, is one of those players that can move up quite well, and the fact that he's still only 25 years old, that is absolutely terrifying. I feel like he's been tearing up the game for years now. I mean, looking at him in terms of attacking ability, I mean, for a defensive midfielder, his assists aren't too bad, but defensively, as I said, in terms of all of his numbers, he is within the top percentile in the entire world. When it comes to tackling, I mean, and in the top 99 percentile, top 88 for pressures, 96 for interceptions. All of these numbers are absolutely terrifying, and Ndidi, on his day when he is switched on, absolutely no one can get past him, and I would say he's going to be the most crucial player in this Nigerian squad in terms of a defensive midfield pivot, in terms of him getting the ball from defensive areas and moving it to the Super Eagles' brilliant attack. As I said, I think Ndidi might be the most important in this most important player in this Nigerian squad, and I have to say, what a solid midfield Nigeria have. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is where it gets really interesting, as we'll be looking at the attack Nigeria should have heading into this competition. Now, of course, as you guys know, Nigeria are missing 2 big players heading into this competition. Obviously, the most expensive African player of all time, Victor Osimhen, their striker, won't be in the competition due to COVID, and the likes of Emmanuel Dennis from Watford also won't be in this competition, as Watford cannot release him, as Nigeria apparently took too long to get Emmanuel Dennis in the squad. Apparently they passed some sort of deadline, so those are 2 major players missing from the squad. But saying that, Nigeria still have a brilliant attack heading into this competition. I mean, in the left midfield position, I do feel like Moses Simon is probably the best option they could go for. One of the top assist makers in League 1 in the French league so far this season, 2 goals and 6 assists in 18 games for Nantes so far this season. I think in terms of his attacking ability, he is brilliant. As I said, one of the top assist makers so far this season, and also defensively is one of those wingers that can track back. He is one of those players that puts in the work effort to get back and helps the team, and I think a player like that can be so crucial to winning points. In terms of the right wing option, I've gone for the likes of Alex Iwobi. Now, once again, I'm not entirely happy about that. I don't think Alex Iwobi is one of those players who's achieved as much as people thought he would. Initially, I had Moses Simon on the right wing side, and I had Emmanuel Dennis on the left wing side. But of course, Emmanuel Dennis not being able to enter the competition, I had to fix Alex Iwobi in here. Of course, only 25 years old, is also very versatile, can kind of play in the midfield position, but is, once again, ever since his move to Everton from Arsenal, hasn't quite achieved what he set out to achieve. I think in terms of distribution, he can be decent. As we know, in terms of his numbers, he is not a brilliant player, has gotten around 9 goals in 50 Nigerian caps, so a goal every 5 games, not absolutely awful, but I don't know how much he'll help this team. As we know though, very technically gifted on the ball, is a brilliant playmaker, so if he really steps up another level for this competition, could be a major help. As I said, I'm just not entirely sure about him. him. And of course, guys, in the striker position to end off this Nigerian starting 11, I've gone for the likes of Kelechi Iheanacho, the Leicester striker, the second Leicester player I have in the squad. And it was really tricky to choose Iheanacho, to be honest with you, because I did post a vote on my YouTube page. Sorry, I struggled to speak there for a second. I don't know what happened there. But I did post a vote for you guys to vote for who you guys think Nigeria's striker should be for this competition. And I'm not going to lie, I thought Iheanacho would win it. I mean, looking at him in the Saudi Arabian League so far this season, 11 goals in 15 games. He has been totally unstoppable. He was brilliant last season in the Saudi League. Obviously for Manchester United, he was deadly, and I could definitely see him as the main striker. Once again, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. But looking at Kelechi Iheanacho, 2 goals and 4 assists so far for Leicester this season. Once again, not quite the numbers as last season, but if you look at him last season, you can't ignore those stats. 12 goals and 2 assists in the Premier League last season. There was a spell where he was absolutely unstoppable, won the Premier League Player of the Month award. I think Iheanacho on his day is such a brilliant striker. I was contemplating moving him to the right wing position because he's got quite a bit of pace behind him, and putting Ighalo in the striker position. Once again, I wasn't too sure about that, and I want you guys to tell me in the comment section down below, what do you guys think Nigeria should do in terms of their attack? Once again, another honorable mention that I definitely should mention is the likes of Ahmed Musa. Once again, is Nigeria's captain, so for me not to put him in the starting 11 is a big shout. But I won't lie to you guys, I don't think that he's the best attacker in any of the 3 positions up front. I think he's a brilliant player. I think he's been a brilliant player for years for this Nigerian national team, has scored more goals than any other Nigerian in a World Cup, has had more appearances than any other player in the Nigerian jersey, is an absolutely brilliant player for the club. But as I said, I just don't see myself putting Musa over Moses Simon, over Kelechi Iheanacho or Alex Iwobi. Maybe over Iwobi, that is the biggest shout, but I haven't seen too much of Musa in the right wing position, more on the left side or striker side. As I said, an absolutely brilliant player, but number wise, I just think the other players are better than him. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be my starting 11 for Nigeria for the African Cup of Nations. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Once again, I put a decent amount of research into it, so I hope you guys did end up enjoying it. And let me know in the comment section down below, where do you think Nigeria will end in their group? Do you think they'll top their group? Do you think they'll top the likes of Egypt? Or do you think they'll come second in their group? Let me know in the comment section down below. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I've got a lot of Afcon content coming your way very, very soon. So make sure to subscribe down below if you don't want to miss that content. Also hit that like button. Can we please get this video to 20 likes? But guys, ladies and gentlemen, will the Super Eagles be flying high in this competition? Or as I said, will they be hitting a window? Guys, until next time, this has been Finn, FYNN.